everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's Rynsey, and thank you for finding this very special video today. It's been a long time coming. We have our Q&A video, our 10K Q&A. First of all, I've said it 100 times already, but everybody who finds this video, thank you so much for your support. Thank you. It means the world to me. I wouldn't be here without all of you. And I'm honored that so many people ask me so many questions to answer in this video. Everyone sit back and relax, get comfortable. Not sure how long this is going to be, but it's going to be at least 20 minutes easily. I'm going to run through the questions, answer them to the best of my ability. I'll just be doing some light triggers throughout the video, intermittently, to fill the awkward silences and all the weird little spaces. And these are mostly in chronological order. I might have messed up and got a few of them out of order, but we're just going to roll with it. If they're out of order, I'm sorry. I don't even know if anybody's going to be able to tell. Alright, let's get started because our first question is from ASMR-tastic. And ASMR-tastic asked me with the first question, if I could travel anywhere in the world, where would I go? I've been to many countries already in my life, which I think we're going to explore in another question. But if I could go anywhere in the world, I really want to go to Japan. I think Japan is a beautiful country from what I've seen and heard. I really want to go to Japan, and I missed out on a chance to go to Japan, which I'll get into later. But I want to go to Japan really bad. That's where I would go. I'm not like a big Disney person or a fan of Disney World or that whole thing, but I want to go to the Disney World in Japan because they have the Nintendo World and it just looks super cool. It's right up my alley, so if I could go anywhere in the world, it would be Japan. And the runner-up would be Australia. I'd love to go to Australia. Also South Africa. But yeah, I would go to Japan if I could go anywhere in the world. Okay, Alan asks, who is your ideal person and why? Well, I already married my ideal person. I've been with my ideal person for 11, maybe pushing 12 years now. And that's Mrs. Rynsey, of course. But we'll just speak on this like globally, like people I meet, like what's an ideal person. So, ideal person, someone who's not fake, someone who's not afraid to speak their mind. Someone who isn't selfish, I guess selfless. Those are three huge qualities in a person that I look for. Liars are obviously out. Somebody who's honest. Somebody who just is funny, but, humor doesn't really make a difference, but I would rather hang out and talk with somebody who can make me laugh, and, it's just humor's a good thing. But ideal person, selfless, thinks of others first, and, is funny and honest, and that's my ideal person. The next question is from LTA, and LTA asks, which countries have you visited, and where would you like to visit? Well, I already submitted where I would like to visit. Japan, Australia, and South Africa are three countries I want to visit, countries I haven't been to yet. I have traveled quite a bit, though. I have been all over the United States, almost all 48 of the continental states. But the more I think about it, I don't think I've been to Montana or Wyoming. I don't remember if I drove through those or not. Anyway, I've been to most of the states. I've been across Canada, east to west. I've been to Montreal, Ontario, Quebec, Victoria, Thunder Bay. I've been to Thunder Bay in Canada. Alberta, Canada, home of Bret the Hitman Hart, one of my childhood heroes. And then I had a few other places that I'm just skipping over right now. I can't remember. And I've also been to 10 European countries. I've been to Germany, Spain, France, Portugal, Czech Republic, United Kingdom, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, and I think there was one more and I'm forgetting it. I can't remember. It was 10 countries though. And the reason I traveled to all these places were I was never in a band, but I did, and I use this term loosely, work for a band, a Baltimore hardcore band called Ruiner. Some of my best friends are in that band, and I was the roadie, carried things, set things up, ran the merch table. I don't want to say I handled the money, but I, sold things and made sure the money was right. But that was a lot of fun. I was younger, 23, 24, 25, and I could afford to just not have a job and travel the country. It was a lot of fun, some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. And I think my favorite country in Europe that I went to was Portugal. It was just gorgeous. I loved it. We were on coastal Portugal. It was lovely, beautiful weather. Oh, I've also been to Tijuana, Mexico, for what that's worth. And on my honeymoon, I was at the Dominican Republic. Went to the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana. So that's where I've traveled to, and I still need to go to Japan, Australia, and South Africa are 3 places that I really want to go. Honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to go to them, but that's the countries that I want to go to. So thank you, LTA, for asking that question. And the next question comes from Ryan Music. And Ryan asks, what's a type of video that you've never done but would like to try? And a type of video that I've never done but would like to try. So, I've never recorded a video with a green screen before, because honestly, I'm not that skilled of a person. I'm not that skilled in film where I really know how to use it. But ASMR Dr. Dawson gifted me a green screen that came a couple weeks ago, and I've been toying around with it and trying to figure it out. And I need to get some lights to evenly illuminate it, and I think I got it. So when I can get these lights, I'm gonna once in a while do some green screen content. But outside of ASMR, I would love to have a retro gaming channel, but the gaming is so oversaturated on all social media that I don't think that I would even break into it at all. And I don't really have the time to really do it. It's a lot of work. ASMR isn't easy, but I can put limits on the time that I spend doing it, which we'll get into in another question. But thank you very much, Ryan. That was an excellent question. Okay, the next question is from Tyler Jensen. And Tyler Jensen asks, if money wasn't a factor and I had 1 month to live, what would I do? Well, if money wasn't a factor, I would make sure my family and friends are completely taken care of. I would make sure, obviously, Mrs. Rynsey was completely taken care of with everything, have life as easy as she could when I'm gone. And then, if money wasn't a factor, I would probably donate to a bunch of charities that I believe in, local dog shelters, maybe Mount Washington Children's Hospital in Baltimore, just make as many people's lives better as I could. I don't think that was proper English, but I'm going to roll with it. I just want to improve the world a little bit before I'm gone. Now, I know that was a pretty deep answer. Fun side of things, I'm going to cycle back. I would go to Japan, South Africa, and Australia with Mrs. Rynsey. Also, what would I do? I would probably buy a super, really tricked out, souped up Jeep Wrangler and just drive around and cruise and just go places. That would be my selfish thing that I would do. would be my selfish thing I would do. But thank you very much, Mr. Jensen. Excellent question. Okay, up next is my friend Ty from Ty's GoPro videos. And thank you very much for all the support, Ty. You have been amazing lately, and I really appreciate the support. But Ty asks, what made you decide to start making ASMR videos? And I've answered this before a while ago in a video. I don't blame you for not remembering it or seeing it. The reason I started making ASMR videos, honestly, I was looking for a hobby when COVID started, or a little after COVID started. And I thought that I could look into starting a YouTube channel. And I started researching like crazy, and I found the ASMR, and I started thinking I could do ASMR, and did a ton of research, and here I am a year and like 5 months later, and it's a big hobby of mine, and I make a little bit of money from it, and it's a lot of fun, and I've just kind of been doing it ever since. So honestly, I started doing ASMR looking for a hobby to kill some time with COVID, because my work hours were cut like practically in half, and I had a lot of extra time, especially when COVID first started. But thank you, Ty. I think you asked a couple more questions coming up, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll get to them in order. But our next question is also from Ty. I think that's what I was thinking of. And I think I just kind of half answered this question. You ask if I'm a full-time YouTuber, and if not, what I do for work. No, I am not a full-time YouTuber. I don't allow myself to spend that much time on this channel, believe it or not. What I do for work, I'm a physical therapist assistant, specifically with geriatrics in the geriatric community. I work with people 60, 70, 80, 90, sometimes 100 years old doing physical therapy. I'm a therapist assistant, so I don't do the evaluation. I don't diagnose people because I don't have a doctorate of PT, but I am an actual therapist, and I do conduct treatment sessions and track people's progress and work out exercise plans and implement the goals that the supervising therapist set, if that makes sense. It's kind of like you think of a doctor and they have a physician's assistant. I'm like the physical therapy version of a physician's assistant. Except I don't make that much money. It's fun. I love my job. I went back to college when I was 30 years old because I hated being a salesman, and went back to college, got all my prereq classes, and then I took the two and a half year physical therapist assistant program, which was insanely difficult, by the way. Really difficult. You would have thought it was like a bachelor's or a master's program with the amount of information they made us take. You would have thought it was so difficult, but I did pass at the top of the class, not the actual top. I think I was like in the top 3, and I've been doing this ever since, and I love it. I think it's what I was meant to do, and I love working with older people. I always learn something. They're very wise, very knowledgeable, and I always learn something new every single day. It's really wonderful, very fulfilling, and I love it, and I recommend it to anybody who's trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. Look into physical therapy or occupational therapy. They're both great. But thank you again, Ty, for the extra question. I appreciate it. So, next question is from You're So Golden, and you asked, who is your favorite music artist or movie, TV show actor? My favorite band of all time is New Found Glory. They're a pop punk band from Florida, and they're literally the soundtrack to my late teens, early 20s, 30s, and even now. Absolutely love them. Favorite band ever. So New Found Glory would be my favorite band. Actor or actress. I get asked this from time to time, and it's hard for me to answer. I would probably say currently is Paul Rudd. He's a great actor. He's super funny. He acts so goofy when on camera, and you might not get this from my ASMR videos, but Mrs. Rynsey would attest, I act really goofy off of camera. So I would say Paul Rudd's my favorite actor from movies or TV. Sidebar, I just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on Thursday night, featuring Paul Rudd, and it was so good. You have to go see that movie. It was so good, especially if you love Marvel and you love the MCU in the last 10 plus years of movies, excuse me. It was really good. You'll love it. Go see it. But thank you. You're so golden for that question. Okay, we're going to do a couple more questions with the sponge in the background and then move on to a different trigger, by the way. The next question is from JCS7671. JCS7671. And JC, you asked, would you ever make any more Pure Whisper videos? And I have kind of gotten away from that. Why? I just feel kind of awkward just purely whispering. This is kind of a pure whisper video, but you can see that I'm doing some triggers just lightly in the background, just because I feel like I need to be doing something with my hands. So will I make another pure whisper video? I probably will. It's been a long time since I've done a trigger word video, and back when I had like lower amount of subs, like 1, 2, 3,000 subs, those were some of my best performing videos. Maybe in the coming weeks I'll make another trigger word video, only whispering. But yeah, I don't do them a lot anymore. But I'm gonna make a trigger word video coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you very much, JCS. Alright. Next question's from Trojan. Trojan asks, what is your motivation to keep going? You have been doing it a while now and slow progress. Don't get me wrong, you are severely underrated and deserve more. But yes, where is the motivation for you? I've been doing it for a year and 5 months, and almost a year and 5 months. And, it was slow in the beginning, and it's really picked up recently. But overall, for a year and 5 months, 11,000 subs. Well, it's now 11,000 subs. Yeah, I just hit 10,000 a week or so ago, and I'm already at 11,000. But, I don't think that's slow. Compared to some ASMR channels, it's slow, but just like anything, some channels hit their stride and take off. And, mine was really slow in the beginning. I think it took 6 weeks to get 500 subs, and then it slowed down, and then it picked up a little, and really slowed down, and now it's kind of going off, like, over the last 24 hours, I think it was 120 subscribers. The last 24 hours, the channel gained 120 subscribers. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. But I digress. The motivation, honestly, it's a hobby. It's something to do. I edit videos while watching TV or sitting down, just in my downtime, and it's a hobby. And, the growth that we're seeing now is kind of driving me. Also, I've met a lot of cool people, a lot of cool other ASM artists. It's just kind of fun. I'm having fun doing it. I guess we'll just boil it down to the motivation is I'm honestly having fun. So that's where my motivation comes from. Thank you very much for that question. Let's switch this up a little bit. Oh, by the way, this is the Big Yellow Sponge, and it's seen its last day. I think it's starting to get a little too soft. I bought a new one, and we're gonna do old versus new Big Yellow Sponge in an upcoming trigger video. But let's get a different trigger and move on to the next question. Alright, so the next set of questions are from Wade Ebert. And Wade asks, have you thought of becoming a YouTube creator in the spheres not connected with ASMR? I did briefly state that I have thought about being a gaming YouTube channel, but it's too oversaturated, and I don't think I have the time, energy, or patience to break into that. Before an ASMR channel, I did want to start a gardening ASMR channel, but again, I did try to record something, and it was too much work, plus my neighborhood, when it's a nice day, gets pretty noisy. So I think I'm going to be sticking with ASMR for now. Your second question, Wade. What things make your presence in this world happier? Let's see. Mrs. Rynsey always makes me happier. My family and friends make me happy, obviously. Um, my dog Sheba, or any dog really, especially Sheba, any dog makes me happy. I love dogs. I absolutely love dogs. What else? Um, when I get to drive with the top down on the car on a really nice day, it's just awesome. There's nothing like it, especially on a nice, quiet, open road. Um, what else makes me happier? My presence in this world. Um, you know, I don't want to be cliche and say this ASMR channel, but interacting with some of the really cool people that I've met, like I'll see that I have several new comments, and it literally makes me happy when I hear from people. Um, little things like that. But yeah, those little things make me happy. Simple. I'm a simple dude. And you have one more question. What are your plans for the future relating to this channel? We're gonna keep on going. Really, I don't really have anything particularly planned for the channel, except for the fact that there's going to be more collaborations coming. I'm pretty sure I have one secure that we're going to start ironing out plans soon, and I'm like 50% certain on a couple others. These things are, I just feel like I have T-Rex arms using these right now. We're going to have a couple of other that are semi-lined up for collaborations, so I want to do more collaborations. I'm honestly shooting for one a month this year, but it's going to shape out to probably one every other month, honestly. So I guess we could say that's what's planned, and then of course my goal was 24,000 subs by next January, and we're at 11,000 now, so we'll see what happens. Those are my plans. Thank you very much. Thank you, Wade. Alright, so the next question is from Grogulus, Grogulous. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced your name. Grogulus. I think it's Grogulus. I'm saying Grogulus too much. Anyway, you asked me my favorite time of day. My favorite time of day. I do like 4 to 5 o'clock because that's when I get off of work. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. I'm not contradicting what I said earlier. But I really love coming home and, spending time in my home and the life that I built. I would say 4 o'clock would be my favorite time of day. I also really like the time of day when Sheba gets to go on her walk. I like taking her on walks, even though she's a handful. She's pretty dog reactive on the leash still, and we've been working with her, Mrs. Rynsey and I. But I love taking her on her walks. And as I've stated before, I'm sorry I keep repeating other things that I've said in previous videos, but as I've stated before, we can't go gung-ho with Sheba's exercise until she tests officially negative for heartworm. Then we can take her on nice, really long walks, and that I am looking forward to. That is the time of day that I look forward to. Thank you very much for your question. So the next question is from Memoirs ASMR. And Memoirs asks me, would you rather have bionic arms or bionic legs, and why? And I love questions like these, like silly, off-the-wall questions. I think, I don't know, and I didn't think about this ahead of time. Let's see, so if I had bionic arms, let's talk this through. If I had bionic arms, I would assume that I would be able to lift things a lot easier. I'd be stronger. I wouldn't, need, to go get a wrench. I could probably use my bionic fingers to twist, bolts out without needing to go and get a wrench from downstairs. I'd be able to lift things a little better. Now, if I had bionic legs, I could probably run really fast. I would assume I'd have better endurance. I could probably stand long periods of time. I'm gonna go with legs. I'm gonna say bionic legs specifically because I do a lot of walking at work dog too, and I take Shiba on walks. And but then, if I'm relying on bionic legs, my cardiovascular strength would probably decline. I'm gonna stick with legs, but I would make sure that I get my upper body and my heart and my lungs in shape as well. I would rather have bionic legs. Thank you, Memoirs. I had to think about that one. Next is Panda Studios. Panda Studios. And Panda asks, greetings from Italy. Hey, Italy was the other country. I went to Italy briefly. I didn't get to see any touristy stuff, though. I was driving through, and I was in a very small town somewhere in Italy. But I did go to Italy. That's what it was. Anyway, a beautiful country. What is my favorite food? And, well, I like a good burger. I like a really, properly made with care burger. Medium, of course. I like beef usually medium. But outside of a good cheeseburger, I like pasta that's really well made, and I love crab cakes. I'm from Maryland, from Baltimore, and that's what Maryland does, crab cakes and football. It's a true statement from Wedding Crashers. Crab cakes from Baltimore are amazing. If you're ever on the East Coast and coming through Maryland, you should probably stop and get a crab cake from somewhere reputable. Google it and look up a good place. There's lots of them, but they're so good. I briefly lived in California, in San Diego, and I had a crab cake there, and it was nothing. It was nothing like here. Get a Maryland crab cake if you ever have a chance. Thank you for your question. Panda Studios, excuse me. Alright, so our next question is from Elliot B. And Elliot asks, would you do a saying subscribers' names video where people comment their name and you read them? I'm not opposed to that. I think I mentioned that I'm going to look into doing a trigger word whisper video, and that could be another pure whisper video that I do reading subscribers' names. That's not a form of ASMR that I'm really into, but I know a lot of people are into that. So I will consider that. Thanks for asking that for the idea, Elliot. I'll consider it. Alright, next up. Okay, so this is from Dashend, and Dashend asked a lot of questions, so we're going to go through them. I am going to switch up the trigger, though, because it's kind of hard to focus on them and talk to the camera while reading questions. So let's switch up the trigger a little bit. Nice and simple. So let's get into Dashin's questions. How did I discover ASMR? It was by accident, and it was Fred's voice, and he has a video where he's like a medieval knight wearing chainmail and like Link armor, and he's kind of clinking the chainmail around, talking in an English accent. I think he was pretending to be Thor. I found it by accident, and that's how I discovered ASMR. What are my favorite triggers to listen to? I really like tapping or trigger videos. I will say that I'm not into roleplay ASMR, and I'm not into, I think it's pronounced Reiki. That's just not for me. However, I do know a couple of great ASMR artists who do Reiki really well. But I would say trigger videos, tapping, just standard triggers, especially unique items that make sounds that I didn't know they could make. I really like that. Next question is, what are your least favorite triggers to listen to? I think I answered that. Role plays, Reiki. And I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not into eating mukbang. Not into that. I've never done that on my channel, and honestly, I don't think I will, unless it's like trying something crazy for the first time. But it wouldn't be pure eating. Don't like eating. It's kind of weird. Don't like it. Who are my favorite male and female ASM artists? Well, my favorite ASM artists would be Raffy Taffy. I do like Fred's voice. GB is really good. Obviously, she's like the queen of the hill, man. She is up there, but she's super good. And, I like her trigger videos, but I don't really watch her roleplay videos. She does do some really good roleplays, though. Really, really good. And if I'm being honest, honest, I don't watch many female ASM artists for whatever reason. I think a male voice just kind of resonates in my ears differently. I just prefer that. I don't know. I will say that Kira ASMR, she was in my subscribers video. She's growing pretty quickly, and she does a great job with her fast and aggressive videos. I do watch Kira's videos. Keeruhh, I believe. I know there's some really good female ASM artists out there, though. My wife, Mrs. Rynsey, she really, really loves Abby ASMR, ABBY ASMR. She watches her like every single night, so I'm gonna throw Abby ASMR in there. She's very talented as well. And she has really, really great lighting in her videos that I really try to replicate, and I just can't do. So yes, that's Abby ASMR. She's Mrs. Rynsey's favorite, and I'm gonna put that in there. Next question. What are your favorite triggers to do in videos? I love doing the big yellow sponge. I love doing the fuzzy pickle. Those are probably my favorite too. Oh, and the candle. I love using the candle. We're not doing that in this video though. What are your least favorite triggers or uncomfortable triggers to do? I love doing hand sounds, but finger flutters, I can do them pretty good for like 10 seconds. Actually, I'm doing them pretty good right now, but after a little while, for whatever reason, that tires my hands out more than any other hand sound trigger. So I don't want to say they're my least favorite because I really like how they sound, but I would say that they make me uncomfortable. But other than that, I don't really have any triggers that make me uncomfortable or that are my least favorite. I kind of only do things that I enjoy. What do I think is the strangest ASMR trigger? The strangest trigger. Well, I don't want to say this is the strangest trigger, but I did find somebody do a very unique trigger the other day, like literally 2 days ago. It was an old ASMR short, and it was from a gentleman named Inferial Rift. Forgive me, I don't know how to say it off the top of my head. Inferial Rift. An older gentleman. He had Legos. They make a series of like retro gaming systems, and he has an Atari 2600 Lego set and a Lego built joystick, and that joystick made the best sound. It made the best sound. So I kind of lost track of the question. The strangest ASMR trigger. I don't think it was strange, but it was unique. And I guess strange trigger. I'm gonna say mouth sounds are kind of strange. They're very popular, obviously, but who would have thought that in 2023? That would be something that people love. Like, I think that's strange, but it's cool though. But it's strange. What's the most difficult on creating ASMR videos and living as a content creator? Well, I'm a part-time content creator, very part-time. I think the hardest thing is I like to post 4 full videos a week, and sometimes I can't get 4 of them edited because I only allow myself a certain amount of time each week to spend on this channel. So I think sometimes the hardest thing is getting my goals for the week in that time frame. But other than that, being a part-time content creator, the hardest thing would be when your channel's at a low point. Like, there are times when I'll get like 1, 2, 3 subscribers a day, and that kills me. And then there are days like yesterday, I had 120 in one day. So I think the hardest thing is the inconsistencies of the growth. I really want to just have a consistent growth pattern and not up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's a goal that I have. What inspired you to create an ASMR channel? Honestly, it was a hobby as I stated, and here I am today. And what goals do I have with my channel and why? The goals, by the end of this year, by next January, I want to have 24,000 subscribers, and I think we can do it. I want to do more role plays as stated, and it's just something that I want to do to change up the channel. It's just good to have a goal in mindset, because if you set a goal and you can kind of see where the channel's going in that time frame, and you can veer left or right or up and down to whatever's kind of lacking, improve it. And my goal, every video, my goal is always to improve something over the last video, whether it's quality, whether it's content-wise, trigger-wise, always improve something. How do I cope with difficult days? I think I just kind of started talking about that. What keeps you motivated in life? A life advice for your followers or viewers. Oh man, okay, so we're getting deep here. So, in my last video, I gave a good piece of advice, and it's when you have a job and they give you paid time off. That's a benefit of working for that company. That's a perk that they pitched you to get you to work at that company. Don't let a company you work for tell you you can't take your time off. You know, if you're turning in your time off request in the time they asked for, like in a timely manner, don't let them tell you no. I've been taken so advantage of by prior companies I've worked for. Never again. Use your time off. You've earned it. You deserved it, and it's a benefit to you. Recharge your mind. Recharge your mind, and that is a piece of life advice that I would give. How do I cope with difficult days? You know, when I was younger, I wouldn't say I had an anger problem, but I didn't handle stress well. I would get frustrated quite a bit at like dumb little things, and as I've gotten older, I realized that like you can improve, like things will get better. The next day will always be better. The next hour could be better. You know, if something difficult is going on, just take a second. Take a second, center yourself, and it's gonna get better. And literally, I tell myself that, and you know, something stupid isn't worth getting so frustrated about that it should ruin your whole day. That's just me. I don't know if that answers the question or not. And then Dashin ends his questions with a congratulations on 10K. And you said, P.S. You're very handsome and beautiful. Keep going with those great ASMR videos. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the congratulations. Thank you very much, Dashin. That was a pretty comprehensive list of questions, but great questions nonetheless. Let's move on. Okay, Unknown ASMR asks, what song, image from memory, or memorabilia do you associate yourself and Mrs. Rynsey with? You know, I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this question. I actually showed this to Mrs. Rynsey, and she had a hard time with it too, because we kind of try to live in the moment. And you know how you go to some people's like social media, and there's just a billion pictures of every single moment in their life. Like, don't spend your life taking pictures of all those moments. Enjoy those moments. But, you know, I'll say, honestly, our first date, we went to a outdoor bar / venue in Maryland, and we had just a great time just hanging out. That I would call that our second date. Our first date, I went to downtown Baltimore to a bar called Brewers Art Gallery. If you're familiar with it, it's a craft beer place that I think they sell their beer across the country. Their number one beer is called Resurrection. Anyway, I digress. You know, we went there, and then our second date, we went to this half outdoor, half indoor bar. It's also a music venue, and we just had the best time. So I would associate, you know, just that atmosphere with her. I know that's not really a good question, but I associate our first 2 dates, they were really good dates, the best 2 dates I've ever had, and every day afterwards especially as well. And an early date that we went on, we actually went to a venue called Merriweather Post Pavilion. rather, Post Pavilion, and we saw Paramore was the headliner, and Newfound Glory was a supporting band, and that is my favorite band, Newfound Glory, and one of her favorite bands, Paramore. And Merriweather is like a big like field venue. Like they have like a pit area, and then it's like a big field on a slant, and you just put blankets down and hang out and watch music. And it was so much fun. Like we just had a great time. It was a great night, great evening. The shows were really good. And yeah, so I associate those like 3 dates as like a memory that I think about with my wife. I love her to death. Thank you for the question, Unknown. I hope that answered your question. Alright, next up is Lizzie Stan, and Lizzie Stan asks, sorry to be that person, but how old are you? LOL. I doesn't matter to me. I'm 40. I just turned 40 in January. And my beard is getting more and more gray by the day. I saw a picture of myself from my wedding 4 years ago. Not a single gray hair. I used to have like a mostly red beard, brown hair and a red beard, but now it's mostly gray, and it's getting more gray by the day. So this time next year, I'm gonna look even older. Thank you, Lizzie. Alright, Nectarine Emulator, my friend, you're up next, and you have 3 questions. My favorite drink. Favorite drink, well, I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm probably gonna say coffee. If you meant alcoholic drink, I'm really not a big drinker. I like every once in a while, I like a really nice scotch, like Johnny Walker. Like I have a Johnny Walker, I think it's double black, it's really good. For beer, I'm not picky. I don't like heavy beers. I prefer just a lager, and while it's not made in Baltimore anymore, National Bohemian is probably my favorite beer. Used to be made in Baltimore. It's actually their mascot is a huge Baltimore icon to this day. So I would say Natty Bo or for a alcoholic beverage. Otherwise, I really like coffee, and I've been trying to drink more water lately, just trying to flush my system. So I would say water, Natty Bo, and coffee. Second question. How do you make time for YouTube in addition to having a full-time job, wife, and animals, considering my insane upload routine? How long does it typically take to plan, film, edit, and upload a video all together, and what part of the process do I enjoy the most? Okay, so I only allow myself 10 hours of time a week on this channel. That includes recording, editing, uploading, title, thumbnail, description. 10 hours a week. If I go over 10 hours a week, roughly, those are the weeks where I only have 2 or 3 videos that come out. It's just, I won't let this take up all of my time. And I hope that answers the question about life, because, I do have animals. Ferrets, sugar gliders, Sheba, my dog, Mrs. Rynsey, and, family and friends too, and just downtime where I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be on. So I manage it by only allowing 10 hours a week on this channel. What part do I enjoy the most? Let me guess, the uploading part. I'll be honest, I enjoy recording. I don't enjoy editing that much. I find it difficult to stay focused when editing, and sometimes I just kind of fall asleep while editing. It's happened several times. But the recording part I like the most. And your third question. Would you change your channel name to Rynsey Sleeping Beauty ASMR Girl, or delete your channel? Rynsey Sleeping Beauty ASMR Girl. I don't know if I would do that. I think I would try that name before I deleted my channel, because who knows, it might take off. Nectarine, thank you so much. Alright. Next up is Jayla Bowers. Jayla, you asked a couple of questions. Do you know how to roller skate? What type of car do I drive or own? Do you ever listen to ASMR in your free time? And how old are you? Well, I just had that question. I'm 40 years old. Do I know how to roller roller skate. I used to roller skate poorly. I haven't been roller skating in at least 10 years, and honestly, I don't think that I will again in my life. I have no desire to. When I was a kid, I used to rollerblade a lot, but roller skating, I don't think that's in my future anymore. What type of car do you own? I own a Jeep Wrangler, and I love it. I've only driven Jeeps. I've had 3 Jeeps in my driving life. Do you ever listen to ASMR in your free time? I do. If I'm like cleaning or doing a task or something, I'll either listen to music, or if I just want some background noise, I'll put on some ASMR videos of some channels that I help support, just to play and get them some playtime. And sometimes I do legit watch ASMR to help me relax or fall asleep. Said it before, I'll say it again. Raffy Taffy is my go-to. Several others, sometimes JoJo, sometimes GB. So up next, speaking of channels that I support, Pickled ASMR, and let's get into his questions, my friend. Congrats on 10K, so excited for you. Thank you very much. You're almost there. You got this. Your content is so good. You mentioned that you enjoy metal music. What are some of your favorite bands? So, I read this when you posted it, and I've been thinking about what I'm going to say. So, I don't think I've listened to a metal band that has come out in the last 15 to 20 years. A lot of my metal music is from when I was a kid. And my favorite band growing up, despite some questionable things that have come out about them recently, but growing up, my favorite band was Pantera. They're like a super metal band. They're awesome. I've seen them in concert twice. Dimebag Darrell is the reason that I ever played guitar when I was a kid. His tone and his style is just amazing. He was murdered, unfortunately. God, I'll never forget that day. But anyway, growing up, I loved Pantera. I still love their music, but the singer Phil, he's been a little questionable in the news lately, so I don't support the things that he said or did, and I'm not going to get into that here. But musically, I love Pantera. Another one of my favorite metal bands is Megadeth. There's Metallica and Megadeth. If you know the parallels between them, you do. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm a Megadeth person. Love Megadeth. I've seen them 3 times in concert, and they're actually one of the best concerts that I've ever seen. Megadeth is awesome, even though Dave Mustaine is kind of a jerk in real life. Other metal bands that I like, White Zombie shaped my youth. I love White Zombie. Who else? I guess if you want to say a metal band that I've listened to recently in the last, earlier, and if you want to call them metal, I've been listening to this band called 4 Year Strong lately. They're pretty heavy for what I usually listen to, so I'm going to throw them in there as well. 4 Year Strong. I love Alice in Chains. If you want to call them metal, they're more of a grunge. Nirvana is grunge, but I loved Nirvana growing up. So those would be some of my favorite metal bands. Next question. If I could only eat one food in all of its forms for the rest of my life, what would it be? Instinctively, I'd want to say something that's like not good for you, but if that's all that I can eat for the rest of my life, I'm probably going to die early from poor health and cholesterol and diabetes. So I'm not going to say like a burger or something sugary. One food in all of its forms. I'm trying to think of diverse vegetables that aren't very starchy. So no corn, no potatoes. God, this is gonna be hard. I don't know. I'm not gonna pick a vegetable. I'm gonna say chicken because it's lean. You can eat it many different ways. It's not terrible for you. I'm gonna say chicken, just because it's lean and not really fatty, and I feel like out of all the proteins, that would be the most healthy for you. So I'm gonna go with chicken on that question. What What's the best way to get a hold of you to set up a collaboration? Okay, so this Pickled is the person that I'm like 99.9% sure that I'm gonna collab with next. I'm gonna reach out to you today after I record what I need to record. I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna find you. We're gonna set this up. I'm sorry. I've been lazy. I'm sorry. So that's the best way. But as I stated, to go back to your first question, that would be like the metal music. Now, I mean, I do listen to other metal stuff. I want to say, like Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath, one of the early metal bands. Black Sabbath is awesome. And then, there are other things that I listen to that, if it comes on like a playlist or on Spotify or something, or Sirius Radio, I'll listen to it. There's a band, I don't even know if they're still around, but there's a band called Decapitation, of all things. They're super fast, really fast drums, and I love them. I say what you will, I really like Slipknot. I pretty much love all of their albums. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But I do listen to a lot of metal music. Amon Amarth, I really like Amon Amarth for what they are. They're like Viking metal. They're pretty cool. I really like Amon Amarth too. But I'm gonna reach out to you, my friend. Thank you for the questions. Alright, up next, we have Blub Blab, channel member. Also Pickled channel member. Blub Blab. I have not been on your channel for very long, but I'm glad to be at least one of the first 10,000 subscribers. If you keep doing ASMR this good quality, it will soon be 20,000, then 30,000, then 100,000, and I'm sure you're going to break the 1 million sooner or later. Blub Blab. That would be awesome. Honestly, I'm taking it one day at a time, but if I hit 1 million, my goal is to get the silver YouTube plaque. But at 1 million, they give you the gold one that's like twice the size. That would be an ultimate goal. But right now, we're just cruising. Thank you for that compliment. My question to you is, how much time do you put into making your videos with all the recording, editing, and so on? By the way, I'm sorry for my bad English. I will get better. Your English is perfect. That was great. That English. Now I'm speaking poor English. The way you spoke is better than most Americans at English, honestly. So you have nothing to worry about, blah blah. Anyway, back to your question. How much time do you put into the videos with all the recording, editing, and so on? I just briefly answered that. Previously answered that. I allow myself 10 hours a week for recording, editing, posting. 10 hours a week. If I go over that roughly, I don't do it anymore because I have a life and I cherish that more than making ASMR. No offense. Life comes first. This is a hobby second. That I love this hobby, but other things come first. That's how it should be for anybody. Even like a full-time job, your life should still come first. Thank you very much for the question. And the compliments. That was an excellent compliment. Thank you. Alright, up next. Someone who is really awesome. And, I should have put her on the female ASM artist. I'm really sorry. Cloud9 ASMR. Before I even read the questions, let me just say something. I'm going to brag a little bit. I was Cloud9's second subscriber. She found me from my video where I talked about how I got 5,000 subscribers in 6 weeks. And I was speaking on things that I do and things that I did. And I went to her channel. She had 1 subscriber and I was number 2. I'm going to brag a little bit, Cloud9. Thank you for being a subscriber to me and watching my videos. You're doing great, and I hope you keep putting out content because it's really relaxing. And I think you just started a second blog-like channel, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me, I haven't checked it out yet. Anyway, let's get to your questions. So, her question is, I love knowing people's favorites. So what are your fave movies, TV shows, singers, bands, foods, and animals? Okay. My favorite movies. Anything in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the Avengers movies, I just saw Ant-Man Quantumania, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows. I love them. TV shows, I just finally started watching The Last of Us. I just finished episode 3, and it was excellent. The show has been excellent so far. I also love The Office, Parks and Rec. Yeah, so those are some movies and TV shows that I love. Outside of the Marvel movies, I love the movie Fight Club, Wayne's World, and there's this kind of like horror movie from when I was a kid that terrified me, but it's like a cult classic that I fell in love with as I've gotten older, called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Absolutely love it. And they were supposed to do a remake / sequel of it, and I don't think they ever did, and I'm a little sad about that. My favorite singers or bands. Excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice a little. Favorite singers and bands. Just kind of went over New Found Glory is my favorite band. I really love New Found Glory. I listen to a lot of pop punk, more so than metal pickled, but I listen to a lot of pop punk and ska. I love ska music, believe it or not. It's another part of my youth. So there's a band called Less Than Jake that I love. I really like Goldfinger, all of that third wave ska stuff. I don't know what it is, but I like horns in my music, and I love wearing checkered shoes. So ska, I really like ska music. Favorite foods, burgers, good well-made pasta. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with burger. I love a good burger. And favorite animals, love dogs. Absolutely love dogs. Now, if we're talking about non-domesticated animals, I love monkeys. Why? I think it's just because there's such a human aspect to monkeys. It draws me in. Like, whenever I would go to a zoo, I could spend hours in the monkey exhibit just like watching them, and it's just crazy. Also, I remember when I was a really small child at the Baltimore Zoo, in the monkey exhibit, there was this little, it was like this big. I don't know if it was a baby or just a small monkey, but I remember it jumped up and it stood on a stick that was next to like a glass or plexiglass enclosure, and we were looking at each other, and I stuck my tongue out at it, and it definitely stuck its tongue back out at me, and that has just like stuck in my head forever, and I think that's where I get my love for monkeys from. But Cloud9, thank you very much. Oh, there's a PS. PS, huge congrats on 10K. Almost 11 already subs. You deserve it and so much more. Thank you. Sorry I'm losing my voice on your question. Thank you so much, Cloud9. You should check her out, Cloud space the number 9 ASMR. She's really good. Next up is MEMM, another channel member. Thank you very much. Congratulations on 10K. So well deserved and so well earned. Thank you so much. What would you consider your favorite video game and why? Well, as a child of the 80s, I love retro games. One of my favorite games of all time is Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. The game is perfect. Absolutely perfect. I really like a game for Super Nintendo called Earthbound. It's an RPG. It's really good. I really like Super Mario RPG as well. And basically any Zelda game. A Link to the Past is great. For Nintendo 64, Ocarina of Time is a masterpiece. I also put a lot of time into GoldenEye 007 for Nintendo 64. Yeah. Other than that, those are probably some of my favorite video games. Putting me on the spot here. I do love Super Mario World. It's a lot of Mario. I was a Nintendo kid growing up. I'm not really into sports games. If you want to call Tony Hawk Pro Skater a sports game, I love that. I actually downloaded the remake the other day and played it a little bit a couple nights ago. The soundtrack took me back to my youth. It's all punk and ska, and I love it. But I put a lot of hours into Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 as well. So I would say those are some of my favorite video games. What is a favorite memory of yours that makes you happy every time you recall it? I read this ahead of time, and I had been thinking about this question. And I'm going to say... Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I'm going to say when I found our dog Bear. He passed away before Sheba. I saw his picture online, and I saw it, and his eyes just talked to my soul, I swear. And I went downstairs, and I went to Mrs. Rynsey, and I said, what if I asked you to go with me and potentially get a dog today? And without hesitation, she said, let's go look. And like within an hour, we went down to the shelter, and we met Bear. And all the dogs were acting crazy, and he was sitting there looking at us. Just beautiful, just calmness. We let him out, he wagged his tail. We played with him in the yard a little bit, and we fell in love right then and there. And I'm gonna say that memory makes me smile every time I think about it. Mrs. Rynsey and I were just watching videos of him the other day, and I think that's where this memory was recently triggered up again from. But he was such a good boy. Like, he was so well behaved, you have no idea. So smart, so just a beautiful dog, and I miss him every day. He had a strange blood condition where, you have platelets in your blood that help your blood clot. And his body just killed all the platelets in his blood, and he was essentially bleeding from, like, in his body and the pores in his body, and it was absolutely horrible. The worst day of my life was when we had to put him down. One of the worst days of my life. It was terrible. But I think of the good memories of him because he changed Mrs. Rynsey and I for the better. He's a huge part of our early relationship before we got married, when we were married. 2 houses, and best memory. He is the best dog. Anyway, I got off on a memory tangent. I'm sorry. What's your favorite place to go? I'll be honest, we haven't gone many places since COVID happened. But honestly, anywhere with Mrs. Rynsey, somewhat recently, we went to the restaurant venue that we got married at, where we were married, and had dinner, and it was really good. Yeah, other than that, just hanging out with friends. Like, we don't go very many places, to be honest with you. But if Mrs. Rynsey is there, it's really all I care about. And, I've said that a lot in this video, but it's true, and I'm not gonna hide the truth. What's a creative endeavor you'd love to pursue? Oh, yeah, honestly, this ASMR channel is the biggest creative endeavor that I've ever taken on. So I'm gonna say this, just to be completely honest. Other than that, I'd like to grow this channel quality-wise. Like, I'd like to get to a point where I could afford a better camera and actually edit on a computer, and maybe have a little bit better microphone. I'd like to creatively, work with better equipment to make this content as good as it can get. But I'm really happy with the quality right now. We did design our kitchen remodel. That was quite the endeavor and took a lot of creativity. So, I did do that as well. And do you have previous on-camera experience? I've wondered this a lot. Your camera presence is so good and seems so natural. I have no camera presence experience. No experience on camera, let's put it that way. Absolutely none. That's why, if you go back and watch some of my first videos, I say and there's a lot of awkward pauses. I close my eyes a lot. I look away from the camera a lot, because it's weird being the only person in the room. You wouldn't think that recording yourself would make you nervous, but it really did. It still kind of does in a way. I don't know. I think I just kind of don't want to fail and I won't know if I fail until after I record and look at the video. But no, I have no on-camera presence. Thanks for always putting out great content. You're welcome. Thank you for always supporting me, Em. I appreciate your questions. Okay, our next question is from Lord Farquaad, from Shrek. And Lord Farquaad asks, would you ever consider reading the entire Shrek manga? Honestly, I'm not into manga or anime or any of that stuff. It's just not my thing. So the answer is no, I wouldn't consider it. However, I'm curious if that actually exists. Is that really a thing? I'm gonna have to look that up after I record this, because I'm just curious now. Yeah, thank you very much, Lord. I've seen you in the comments several times over the months, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you. The next question is from Crimson MC, and Crimson asks a very, very good question. Whatever happened to the beard saga? And for those who don't know, I had cut my beard down really short, and the idea was I was going to do a beard scratching video every couple weeks as it grew, and I think I did like 2 of them, and I kind of abandoned it. I don't know or remember why. I don't have an answer for you, I'm sorry. That being said, we're doing a beard scratching video. I'm recording it after this one, so there is a beard scratching video coming. It's been a long time. Crimson, I'm sorry, I did. You're absolutely right. I abandoned the beard saga, and, I'm still gonna do beard scratching videos from time to time, but I'm not gonna lie and say I'm gonna do the beard saga. It just kinda went away, I'm sorry. One of those things. Thank you for supporting me nonetheless. Next question is from Josu Ortega, and I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. Josu Ortega. What was the reason for making ASMR videos? We already explained it. It was a hobby that started during COVID. I just kind of wanted a good hobby to pass some time. That's it. It's really just a hobby, and it turned into this, and I have a lot of fun, and I appreciate your support. Thank you very, very much. Our next question is from MKEMMK. I don't think you're the same person or related as M, but MK, Emk, or MK, I'm not sure. Anyway, the question is, how'd you get your name? What kind of music are you into? And what concerts have you been to? The name Rynsey, first of all, I want to say, I've used the name Rynsey for years, like seriously 20 years. Only recently have people started pronouncing it incorrectly. I get called Rynsey a lot, but it's Rynsey. And I don't know if there's something like in the media or in the world that has changed people to thinking Rynsey. It's been my gamer tag on Xbox and PlayStation for like 20 years, and like I remember years ago like playing Call of Duty and people saying, Rynsey, you got me. But now everybody says Rynsey, and I just don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, I can understand why just by looking at it phonically, but it's Rynsey, not Rynsey. Anyway, Rynsey is a nickname. It's a play on my last name, which I'm not going to give out here. So I got that name just as a nickname from my last name, if that makes sense. What kind of music are you into? Pop, punk, ska, punk music, 90s, early 2000s metal music. I think Pickled asked that question. I went through several bands with them. Thank you for the question nonetheless. And what concerts have I been to? I'm going to use your question and build on it. I'm going to give my top 5 favorite concerts in no particular order. And the first one might shock some people. When I lived in San Diego, I saw Justin Timberlake live. And it was amazing. It was so good. So good. This was when I lived in San Diego. And it was so good. I just don't know how else to explain it, how good he was. It was a really legit show, and I had a lot of fun and really liked it. And plus, Justin Timberlake is a really good performer. As I stated, I saw Megadeth. I saw Megadeth at the 930 Club when I was in my early 20s. The 930 Club's in Washington, D.C. And me and my friend at the time, Andy, we were in the front row of the pit. We got there super early. We were the first ones in line. We were front and center. And I was literally standing like 3 feet from Dave Mustaine, well, he is Megadeth at this point, but the singer for Megadeth. And it was awesome. I was practically getting crushed the whole time against the guardrail, but that show was amazing. I saw Pantera at a university in Maryland, and that show was awesome. I was like 3 people back from the very front. They actually got banned from ever playing that university again because they had a prop set in the background. It was their logo made of metal, and it was on fire. And their logo actually burnt the roof of the gymnasium of the university, and the university banned them from ever playing there again. Another one that might surprise some people, but it shouldn't because I love all forms of music, really. There used to be a radio station called WHFS, and they had a huge concert called the HF Festival, and some people may have heard of this because it was a giant festival, again in Washington, D.C. And many, many great bands were there, including New Found Glory, Yellow Card, The Offspring, The Cure, a few other bands. I'm blanking all of a sudden. I don't know why. There was one band who I really enjoyed and they were there. I'm blanking on it. But one of the headliners was Jay-Z. Jay-Z, the rapper. And it was so good. This concert was held, and I'm forgetting the name of the stadium, but it's where the Washington Commanders play, formerly the Redskins, which, thank God they got rid of that name. But it was at their stadium, and I remember when Jay-Z was performing, like, I remember looking up, and the rafters were, like, I could visibly see them swaying up and down. It was a little unnerving, but it was so good. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. I think that was 4. Timberlake, Pantera, Megadeth, Jay-Z. And you know what? I'm gonna put that Paramore New Found Glory concert that Mrs. Rynsey and I had an early date on in that list as well. Both personal reasons, plus it was a really good show. Paramore's really good live. But yes, thank you. I lost my page here. Great questions, MK. Thank you very much. We have Ty with another question. Ty's GoPro videos. What kind of Jeep do you have? Curious after your most recent video. And he's referring to my ASMR in the car video. I drive a 2018 Jeep Wrangler. Stingray is the color, and I love it. I've only driven Jeeps. Thanks, Ty. Okay, so we have a few more questions to go. This is a long video. Thank you for all these awesome questions. So the next few questions are from Care Bear Tingles, who she was also in my ASMR with subscribers video. First question, will your wife ever film a video with you? Mrs. Rynsey is not comfortable recording a video and going on the internet. So Mrs. Rynsey will probably not be in a video with me, unfortunately. I have tried, I have begged, I have pleaded, but I don't think it's gonna happen, guys. I'm really sorry. I really wish she would, though. She would be great. What type of work do you do? I am a physical therapist assistant. Specifically with the elderly. We had this question a little earlier, but I'm still glad that you asked it. I'm a physical therapist assistant, and I absolutely love my job. It's very demanding, but very rewarding. And your third question is my favorite YouTubers to watch. Okay, so, we talk about ASMR so much in this video, but I watch other YouTubes as well. I watch a lot of gaming YouTubes, and I watch a lot of videos on movies, like reviews, breakdowns. So, I watch a couple of game streaming YouTubes. There's a gentleman whose name is Ryukar, Ryukar, Ryukahr, and he is a Mario streamer. He plays Mario Maker 1 and 2, and I just really, really enjoy it. As a retro gamer, I love it. I watch a Call of Duty His name is These Knives Only, and all he does is he plays Call of Duty, but only with knives and a riot shield. He doesn't use any guns, which is really unique, but he is so good, and people rage and flip out on him, and it's really funny. I watch a channel called New Rockstars. New Rockstars is a movie review, mostly like sci-fi movies or like movies and shows like that. So they do a lot of reviews and breakdowns and discussions and chats on Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, TV shows, The Last of Us, things like that. And they've actually recently branched out into a new channel, which I have to still check out. I haven't looked at it yet. And let's see. I also watch some cooking channels. There's a channel called Guga Foods, and the gentleman's name is Guga, and he dry ages and prepares steak, specifically Wagyu steak, and it's really entertaining. Guga Foods, Guga. But those are most of the YouTube channels that I watch regularly, definitely regularly. And you know what? I'm gonna throw in. I watch a couple gardening channels as well. One of them being M.I. Gardener. I've learned a lot about gardening from him. Vegetable gardening. M.I. Gardener. He's in Michigan. M.I. Abbreviation for Michigan. But Care Bear, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate those questions. The next question is from Lucas Capelli. Yeah. Sorry, Lucas Capelli, excuse me. I almost said Campbell. It looked like that from far away. Lucas Capelli. And you asked, how long does it take to make a video? So, say I record a 25-minute video. You know, that's about 25 minutes or so of recording time. And then the editing time probably would take me 40 minutes up to 60 minutes to edit it, depending on how many edits it needs or what the video is. And then I would spend about anywhere, depending on the video, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes making a thumbnail, and about another 10 to 20 minutes writing a description and a title for that video. And I just said all those times, and I didn't recollect what I said to add them up, but you can add them up, and that's approximately how long it takes. Like I said in this video already, I don't allow myself to spend more than 10 total hours on this channel a week, and I pretty much do that globally. I don't really break it down per video. But Lucas, thank you very much for the question. So I guess to sum that up, I don't think I spend terribly long on recording and editing. Like some channels spend hours on editing, and I just don't have the time or patience to do that. The next question is from HGB Nails, and they ask, how did you start doing ASMR? I was looking for a hobby, and here we are. During COVID, I was looking for a hobby, and I discovered ASMR. I thought that I could do it, and after a lot of research, here I am. Thank you, HGB. I appreciate the question. Alright, a couple more to go. Trevor A asks, my favorite thing about ASMR, and I know what the answer to this is already, and it's the community. This community, you know, it's relatively troll-free. Everyone is so nice. You know, if there's criticism, it's constructive criticism. You know, and being that there's so many niches and different styles of ASMR, you know, there's something for everybody. So my favorite thing about ASMR, being a creator, is the community. It's a really positive, safe space to be in. My favorite thing about viewing ASMR is how something so simple can be so powerfully relaxing. Really. Like, you know, this is a mic filter. But if you get it just right, like, you can make like that vibrating, tingly feeling just happen from something like this. I think that's really cool. Thank Thank you very much, Trevor, for the question. All right, Ty's back with his last question. Do you watch ASMR videos while editing your videos? I don't. Because when I'm editing a video, I'm listening for any noises in the background that need to be edited out. I'm making sure there's no like poppy sounds on the mic that need to be edited out, or like a dog barking outside somewhere, things like that. And if I'm listening to triggers happen while I'm editing a trigger video, it's almost just too stimulating. I do play ASMR like while I'm gaming sometimes. I will say that just as a background sound. Ty, once again, thank you for the support, my friend. You're awesome, and congratulations on launching your Minecraft world. Like I said, I'm not into Minecraft. I've never actually played, but I watched your videos on the tour, and it looked pretty cool. Knowing literally nothing about Minecraft, I'd say that is amazing. So great job. And my man, ASMR Dr. Dawson, in at the last minute with some questions. First question. Oh, by the way, channel member, thank you very much. First question, how did we come up with Sheba's name? We didn't. It was her name when we adopted her, and we actually didn't like the name at first. But she kind of already knew it, and it grew on us. Now, she does have several nicknames. Let's see, shorten it down, there's Sheebs, there's Shebo Bebo, there's Sheba McIntyre, what else? Sheepster, and then her actual government name is Sheba Louise. Louise is her middle name. And a friend of ours gave her the name Sheba McIntyre, which I think is really funny, like Reba McIntyre, the country star. Yeah, so we didn't come up with the name. It was already her name. What are your top favorite things to do outside of ASMR? I like to relax and play video games. I like to work on my house. We're approaching the end of things that needed to be done. I don't want to say it was a fixer-upper when we bought it, but it had a lot of work that needed to be done. With the exception of the ferret's room, I have painted every single room, hallway, stairway, and bathroom, the basement. Some of the steps in the basement. I've painted almost every single surface in this house because it needed it. Oh my god, I never want to paint a wall again. After I finish that room next door, I never want to paint again. So I do a lot of just upkeep on the house, and honestly, I find it kind of fun. It can be frustrating at times, but it's fun knowing that I'm making something. Well, me and Mrs. Rynsey, we're making our lives better. I like to take Sheba on walks, to play fetch with Sheba, or dogs in general, even our old dog Bear. And I'll be honest, I've definitely slowed down since COVID started. I don't know if it's just getting older plus COVID. But yeah, I'm kind of really a boring person, to be honest with you. My best friend Brian and I, who goes by Deacon, you've seen him on the channel before, we go to every MCU movie premiere, the early premiere the day before, every single one. It's a tradition. And we almost missed this one because he had to have a surgery on Thursday. But the surgeon had to cancel so he could go. We almost broke over 10 years of tradition of going to the early releases. So, going to movies with my friends. Earlier in life, when I had roommates before Mrs. Rynsey lived with me, we would go out to bars and just hang out in Baltimore. There's an area of Baltimore called Fells Point, which is just a lot of fun, a lot of great restaurants, great shops, great bars, good atmosphere. I love going to Orioles games at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. It's one of the best ballparks in America. The ballpark that forever changed baseball is what it's called, because that park was built. They use the actual landscapes as part of the stadium, and I think every single stadium since then has modeled their stadium after how Oriole Park was designed. yes, there's a few things that I like to do. Watching and going to Ravens games, of course, even though they're pretty frustrating lately. But yes. And what are your thoughts on the direction the MCU is going? I get asked this so much, not necessarily by people on the channel, but by friends and family members and stuff. I really like it. I know that a lot of people I know were not happy with Phase 4. They thought it was boring and just like filler, and it honestly, you gotta step back and look at it as a whole. Phase 4 was, it was rebuilding, it was world building, because Phase 3 ended that huge storyline, and you have to start somewhere. So there are new heroes coming, you have to build that up, and then whenever you see Ant-Man, you'll notice a lot of that building, what it's leading to, and why it needed to happen. Yeah, so I think the direction the MCU is going is great. You're gonna love Ant-Man. There's a dog barking outside, but I'm gonna power through. You're gonna love Ant-Man. It was great. Doc, thank you so much for all the support. Oh my god, that dog. I'm gonna have to pause for one last question. Our last question is from Bismuth, and I'm really sorry about this dog barking, but I don't have much more time to record. Bismuth asks, have I ever been to Holland or Europe, perhaps? Would you like to go? I did answer that already. I have been to Europe, and I have been to Holland. Holland and the Netherlands they're sort of like the same. I think that they're like kind of the same thing. But yes, I have. I did go to Amsterdam just for a day. I did walk around like the red light district and all that crazy stuff. It was kind of weird at the time. I've never smoked marijuana in my life or done a drug in my life. Hand to the universe, hand to God, whatever. I've never done it. I never even smoked a cigarette. But it was really weird because at the time I was there, marijuana was totally illegal in the United States. And it was weird walking around the streets with people literally just smoking marijuana. It was really bizarre. But yes, I have been there, and it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed my time there, as brief as it was. Yeah, it was great. Thank you for the question, Bismuth. I'm assuming you're from Holland or Europe, perhaps, and the country was beautiful, and I loved it. Thank you for the question. And with that, that's our last question for the video. This is probably going to be a video over an hour long, and that's awesome, and I hope everybody enjoyed. I want to thank everybody one final time for 10K subscribers, now 11K. Thank you for the support. I would not be here without you. I would not be here without you. You're all amazing. Thanks again. I gotta run because I have more to record. But thank you,